Ah, 93 Facebook brothers and sisters. Boy, have I got something to show you. No, not this. No, forget that. Forget that. Here we go. I got something to show you, man. New. That a little over a week ago, I gave you a teaser to. This is called the Book of the Law in the Bag. Have you ever wanted to memorize the Book of the Law? Have you ever wanted to, I don't know, a simple way to meditate on the Book of the Law? Maybe you want to use it as an oracle. Okay, well, this here, Book of the Law in the Bag, and we can do that and many other things much easier. And this, the Book of the Law in the Bag. What is the Book of the Law in the Bag? You might use, how do you use the Book of the Law in the Bag, Brother Damien? You might be asking me. Well, I will show you. Okay, the Book of the Law in the Bag is a bag full of cards, each card with a different Book of the Law verse on it. And Sora Courtney Pudret is the brainchild of this concept. I use the Book of the Law in the Bag for meditative tool on the Liber Alvel Legis and to memorize the Liber Alvel Legis, just as I wanted to do when I was younger. Here, I will show you how to use the Book of the Law in the Bag. Okay, so you take out the manuscript. We will get to discussing that in a little later in a bit, all right? I stick my hand in the bag. I mix up the Book of the Law in the bag. And then I pull a card. Now, I read that card. I meditate throughout the day on this card, the card I pulled. Not only do I feel that I get a deeper understanding for, but now I am slowly memorizing the Book of the Law in the Bag. I have been a student of Liber Alvel Legis since about 1992, and a problem I have always had was memorizing the Book of the Law. Is that I am able to freely quote several verses together at length, but I have always had a hard time remembering the respective chapter and verse location in the Book of the Law. Now, due to the Book of the Law in the Bag, I am not having that problem and am starting to be able to associate a verse with their location in the Book of the Law by letting the card I pulled echo in my head all day as I meditate on the verse. So, in a way, I'm using it also as an oracle. You might think, after all that mixing up, the Book of the Law in the Bag, let's get this all mixed up here. It kind of gets bulky, right? Well, just like my tarot cards, I take the Book of the Law everywhere I go, man. So, even though it seems like the cards get bulky, it figures the bulkiness is a nuisance to you for you to drag around everywhere you go. Honestly, it isn't. And here's why. One of the cool things I like about the Book of the Law in the Bag is that when you go to pull the Book of the Law of the Bag, similar stack to which you received the Book of the Law in. See, what? It bounces around a bit, right? Well, once it's been bounced around a bit, here we go. In fact, this phenomenon is so true about it being in a stack when you go to grab it out that it's hard to mix the Book of the Law in the bag back up. Okay? Another really cool advantage that I noticed about the Book of the Law in the Bag was that when the verses are split up like this, there are nuances in each verse that I never before noticed. And I am noticing it now. These things that we might say that I missed are an occasional set of a few words Now that I am noticing these things in the book of the law, things I know for a fact that I have already read thousands of times before, groupings of words and phrasings are giving me, you could call them revealings in a completely new context. As you read each card, I can pretty much guarantee that you will notice the same phenomenon. There are no negatives to the book of the law in the bag. The book in the law of the bag is a great investment as far as I'm concerned, especially if you're studying the book of the law. The book of the law includes, of course, 220 cards, each with the verse from that verse's respective location in the book of the law. A very large custom bag, as you can see, handbag to put the cards in and to be able to mix the cards up in, to transport and storage. A booklet of the manuscript of Liber AL Vel Legis, of actual Liber AL, Liber 31. Okay, as you can see, it's got stuff, it's got it all in it. Okay, extra cards come with it, aside from the 220, man. We'll get to that discussion here in just a little bit, all right? It may not matter to you, but the book of the law in the bag also is packed very sturdy and in a well-packed box when you get it. I don't know what I did with my box, but it's a very sturdy box, okay? The book of the law bag will get to you safely undamaged. I can guarantee that. I didn't even have a dent in the box when it came in the mail. Sora Courtney puts all sorts of stuffing in there, bags and everything. It was kind of hard for me to pull it out. You know, I had to pull all this crap out first and then the bag with everything in it. Now, you may be asking, how do I get a set of the book of the law in the bag, Brother Damien? Well, if you're interested in getting a book of the law in the bag, please contact myself here on Facebook, Sora Courtney at facebook.com/The Golden Crow, or get a hold of the Golden Thread Camp at Golden Thread whatever you want to call it, OTO.org. All of this contact information will also be provided above in the header of this post. Now, I had a Facebook conversation with Sora Courtney shortly after I received my book of the law in the bag, and I asked her a few questions. I asked her how many sets were in this printing run. She said 26. I asked her how many are left in this printing run. She says it doesn't matter because the book of the law in the bag is, quote, always available. Are the book of the, I also asked her, are the bag and the drawstring handmade? She said, quote, the intricacies are pre-made, which means that the cloth of the bag and the drawstring were fabricated from somewhere else, but yet that she handmade the bag, she says, by hand, and that she cut the drawstrings and inserted them in the holes and everything. Okay, so this was made by love, in love. Okay, let's get to, I asked her about the manuscript. I said, you know, is it handmade and assembled? She told me that she conceived the idea. She took the scans of the manuscript to a shop where that shop made and I guess assembled the OWL manuscript. Okay, what is the purpose, you know, of, I had asked her, what is the the answer would probably be, and I was correct. She says that, and like I say, it commands in Liber AL, you know, it talks about that every printing of the book, the manuscript should always be with it. Well, this is a type of printing, okay? Even though it's verse by verse, it's a type of printing. So the commandment in the book of the law of always having the manuscript with it, she has fulfilled. So no printing is complete without a copy of the manuscript, right? Well, okay, as I mentioned earlier, there are some extra cards. And as I already said earlier, other cards, one of the other cards is the comment to the book of the law. Just like with the manuscript, no printing of the Book of the Law is complete without the comment. Well, now I knew right off the bat what several of the cards were, but I had to ask Sora Courtney what the other cards were. First of all, here's the comment. Okay, comment. There's a card with Abrahadabra on it. Now, I was stunned. I didn't quite know what this was. I thought it was some dude doing karate moves or something on it. And of course, Abrahadabra. It makes sense to me because magical blessings are needed for this, as well as anything else of Thelemic origin when it comes to the Book of the Law. I saw this card, okay? I thought to myself, what in the hell is that? When I asked her, she told me that, now this is unique, man. She told me that it was the ink blot stain on the manuscript of on Al on page 45, I believe she said, chapter 3, page 1 of the manuscript. Now, I couldn't show you that in this. Actually, I probably could. Let's see here. Let's take a look at chapter 3. Let me find the beginning of it. There we go. See, there's the ink blot stain in the third chapter. It's in there. That's what's on this card, the Abrahadabra card. All right. So, I thought to myself after that, duh, Damien, that would make sense, but it totally went straight over my head. There's a card of an explanatory note about the cause that inspired who to create the Book of the Law on the back. There you go. See, when you order one, if you order one, hopefully you will. This is a very, very, very. I was totally excited. I was like, wow, that's cool. I saw it in one of the groups that I guess she's a part of, or one of her friends that put the pictures up of it. I'll try and get the pictures up also with it. I don't know if they'll show up in this post. So this card is an explanatory note from the creator, the brainchild of it, Sora Courtney. And, this card informs you, this card right here, okay, it informs you of what gets done with the money from the sales, the proceeds of the Book of the Law in the bag. This card states that the proceedings go to the Golden Thread Camp. That is the camp she's a part of. And I'm guessing that had it printed or whatever. I don't know if she did it privately or not. But she donates the proceeds that went above every printing to the camp she belongs to, the OTO camp she belongs to. Okay. When there are two more cards that I had no clue what they were, but I was very interested in them. Okay. And so I asked Sora Courtney, I said, and she had told me that the first card is what, I saw, if you look, it looks like incense burning. When I asked her what the purpose of this card was in the Book of the Law in the bag, she told me that it was art that she had drawn or painted. Of course, you need a little something personal and something you invent. I think it's a very beautiful picture. It's kind of like a black and white, gray bluish. I myself have stared at that a few times while thinking about, I use it as when I have whatever verse I've pulled and I'm bouncing around in my head during the day. I picture this picture with it. That's the picture I have in my head. You can't just have words bouncing around. You kind of like have to have a focal point. That's what I've been using this for. Know what it was and why it was in the Book of the Law of the bag, because I could not relate it to any Thelemic symbol known to me. Well, Sora Courtney told me that the symbol was a friend symbol, and that the artist, the gentleman whose symbol it is, we might call him the owner of the symbol, is Daniel Stout. So you guys, and I wanted to make a shout out to him, Daniel Stout. This is a very cool emblem. Okay, the Book of the Law of the bag is $93 with shipping. However, depending on where you live in the world, there may be applicable shipping charges. 93 Facebook brothers and sisters. And to all my Facebook brothers and sisters, to all my Thelemic Facebook brothers and sisters, blessings and worship.